What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast, and I want to talk about the joke, the clownness that is Doge, that's at 39 cents. What in the world is happening? As a $42 billion market cap and $52 billion in transactions, what in the heck is happening with Dogecoin? It literally has, from it being at 0.001 cents, has literally gone up 390 times. This is insane. If Dogecoin could do some move like this, what can XRP do that has real utility? And now it's down. I think it touched all the way to $1.45 earlier, but something to think about, okay? Because Doge has no utility. It's literally a meme. We're still in speculation. For those people who are saying this bull run is different, this might be something to consider because we don't know. We really don't know. What if it keeps going and a bunch of these cryptos that I don't know. But it's something to definitely consider because if Dogecoin is going up this much, oh, there it goes, 40 cents. You have to ask yourself the question, is this bull run different? So 40 and a half. So just thought I'd put that perspective out there. Now, let's get this show on the road. Let's listen to this video by Raoul Pal.
Risky out there because some projects will work and some projects will fail. But it's my fundamental belief that we're at the start of a journey of something so enormous that we can't get our heads around what is coming. We are moving into a digital metaverse where everything is digitized. All value is digitized. And many of the assets that we own and exchange are digitized. We can't yet get our heads around a world that's so different to the world we live in. A world where we become the owners of those protocols, where we can invest actually in that new system, as opposed to being a bystander and letting a corporation or a government control it to make all the money. It's risky out there.
And he says we're owners of the protocol. And so it reminds me of what Glenn Hutchins said, that the value is in the protocol. Don't worry about the price. The price is a distraction. And so we're each going to have a piece of that by investing into those coins because you're owning a piece of the protocol in essence. And then watch this video.
I don't think the space can catch up with the narrative change that is happening so fast. First was the rise of alternative protocols, interoperability, Polkadot, chain links, etc. The alternatives to Ethereum, things like Cardano, different types, non-blockchain, like Hedera. And the list is endless. And I know you're going to say, you didn't mention my favorite coin. I don't really care at this point. There's too many of them. I can't figure them out. But there are some really exciting things because I sit back as a macro guy and look at the mega trends. What is the mega trend here? First, DeFi. Holy shit. Here is a whole lending, borrowing system, probably insurance system, all distributed on blockchain. This is what the world needed. Now, it's really nascent. Some of these are going to blow up. Some are going to work. Which ones do? I don't know. I'm investing in a whole bunch of these, and I just hold them as a basket. But, oh my God, this is changing everything. There's Bitcoin lending markets. Remember when I was talking a year ago, it's like, well, we need a Bitcoin yield curve. Christ, it's happening everywhere. There's yield curves popping up on everything. So this is all going on. DeFi space is exploding. I've now got friends of mine who are sold some of their Bitcoin and then gone through the realization that they don't even need to put it back in a bank because they put it into a stablecoin, USDC, and earn 8%. Why even go to a bank? Because then they can send it somewhere else instantaneously. You only need to go to a bank when you want to buy a physical asset in the real world. But savings assets don't really need to be in the real world. So, this is game-changing. So anybody who's complaining about, I can't get enough interest on my savings, well, here's a world for you that's come out of DeFi that allows you to do it. What risks are you running? Well, it's not clear what all the risks are, but it's not clear what risks you're running in your pension fund when your fund manager invests in corporate credit.
So, yeah, we're moving exponentially fast. And he's right, DeFi is here and it's coming. It's here to stay. It's just a matter of time. We're just early adopters, and If you participated in the Flare airdrop, oh my goodness, that is going to be something crazy that I don't think we can wrap our heads around yet. Now, Real XRP Boy posted this. Check it out.
Bitcoin initiative is that it might start in payments and end up in securities or lending or other activities. How do we deal with those kind of issues in the international level?
Good question. And as I think other speakers alluded to, I do think that a principle-based, risk-based, and functional approach can help address that. So if we try to collectively regulate across the function and the activity and presumably the similar risk that's proposed, it shouldn't matter as much if it becomes a security or if it's currently used as a payment and what have you, because once it embodies, if you will, that sort of functionality, then I think it would need to be regulated as such. And today we do have financial instruments that are used for multiple purposes and would fit, at least in the U.S., under different regulatory regimes.
And then it continues here. Let me play this other one.
Bitcoin was built as a reaction against corrupt governments and financial institutions. Bitcoin was meant to function as a monetary weapon, as a cryptocurrency poised to undermine authority. And that's, Robert Shiller quotes from someone else, Sterling Wujan, part of the Bitcoin, discussion on Bitcoin or whatever. So, this opens a discussion in the other dimension. And since Robert Shiller is a world expert and received Nobel Prize for researching the financial bubbles, I think he himself and others, including the Bank for International Settlements general manager and also Muriel Rubino, who I respect very much too, they call the Bitcoin, for example, bubble, and some of them call it a Ponzi scheme. Maybe that's too extreme to a certain extent, but there are characteristics of that. So the question then, and international question, is how do we approach and regulate something which is a potentially, not necessarily, but potentially monetary weapon and financial bubble and Ponzi scheme? So that could be a provocative question in itself, but I think we need to look at the fundamentals of the crypto assets, what they are. Are they, currencies? Obviously not. We discarded of that term. Are they assets? That's a big question for me too. Maybe they are crypto tokens. That would be maybe a new term, but more accurate. So in addition to that, I don't want to complicate the discussion, but the fundamentals and fundamental problems in the financial system still remaining, be it maturity mismatches, be it size, complexity. You mentioned yourself in one of the discussions the blurring the lines, borders, be it sectorial borders, be it product borders. And now with the crypto and the technologies, DLT, the national jurisdictional borders are also being blurred, or somehow we have to look at that. So this, landscape of the financial system, especially after the crisis and after COVID, there'll be major problems. So how?
And he's saying it. After this pandemic that's happening, there will be major financial issues. And you can start seeing them. The cracks are showing. And we're headed towards a very interesting time period. So prepare yourselves. And this is another clip.
Like AML, CFT, we will need to address that no matter what. It doesn't really have a scalability implication. It is something that is sort of inherently cross-border and it is a public policy issue that we will, and regulatory issue we'll need to address. But if a crypto asset does not arise to a level of sufficient scale or interconnectedness, et cetera, it may not have financial stability implications. And so therefore, we may not need to kind of look at it and regulate it from that policy objective. I think another issue that we will need to consider in addition to public policy objectives is relatedly the use case. So, for example, stablecoins have gotten so much attention, I think, aside from the, what's happened with Bitcoin, because the use case presumably is some sort of widely adoptable kind of payment mechanism. And that use case, which touches on so many, monetary policy issues and potentially even monetary sovereignty issues, raises a different level of scrutiny. So I think that the type of policy goal you're trying to achieve, the type of use case that's being presented by the instrument will all kind of need to feed into what kind of regulatory and information sharing cooperative kind of arrangement we'll need on all these different types of financial innovations.
And we see here that City of London calls for paradigm shift in tech at banks. So that means that these banks are getting ready to upgrade to the quantum financial system, if you will. And so we can see that it's happening all around the world, and it's coming faster than we think, and faster than we expect. So hope this episode has brought you some value. Like and subscribe, and the Internet of Value is coming to a phone near you. This is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you. Or also, remember that by owning these coins, you're a part owner of the protocol. That's important. This is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.